Hey everybody, Mr. Seward here, and today we're going to be looking at lesson number 2 in the student guide, basic functionality. This is page number 19 through 27, I think it is, in our student guide. Yeah, the assignment is going to be on, this assignment is on class number 2. So today we're going to create this box part right here, and to do that we got to start a new part document, and we're going to set our units also. And what we need to know is that the first feature that we create is called the base feature, and the base feature always is going to require you to activate a sketch plane, and then you're going to create a sketch profile. In this case it's going to be a two-dimensional rectangle, and then you're going to create an extruded boss feature. So let's go to SolidWorks. Now I'm going to go up to this new icon right here. I am going to make sure that I have the tutorial tab active and that it says part, and I'm going to say OK, and my screen is cleared up now. Okay, now next thing I want to do is I'm going to go down to this lower right side of the screen. Down here it says custom. Now I'm going to click on that and I'm going to change my units. So I'm going to change my units to mmgs, which is millimeters, grams, and seconds. And it is important that we always check what units we're working with so that we can accurately establish those units, and then we don't get into any trouble with having to scale parts and such as that. Now, what I'm going to do here is I am going to create a sketch. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on the word sketch. That's one of these little tabs right here. And here is the sketching tool. So I'm going to select that. And this gives me my work planes that I can build stuff on. And I'm going to use the front plane for this part. And once I clicked on that, it brings me right into this view of the part, and we have our origin right here. That point that I just put my cursor on, it turned orange, is the intersection of the X, Y, and Z planes. So I'm going to go back to this, and right now we're on opening sketch. Now, something to talk about here is called the conformation corner, and the conformation corner is up here in the upper right hand side. It's this red X, and then this other symbol. This other symbol, depending on what you're working with commands wise, is going to be, it changes. So sometimes it'll be this symbol right here, which looks like the sketching tool does over here on the left hand side. It's telling you what is active right now. If you click on that, it saves your sketch, and you'll see it getting used in a couple of minutes. Now, let's see. The next thing they do in the instructions here is they talk about the SolidWorks windows and the different parts of it, like the command manager, which was where I hit the sketch tab, the menu bar, which is across the top. Then they have a heads up toolbar, which is in the middle of the graphics area at the very top. We talked about the sketch origin, feature design tree. The triad is down in the lower left corner here. The status bar is on the bottom of the graphics window. Conformation corner, the graphics area is this large white area, so you know in general where things are on our screen. So, first thing we need to do is we need to sketch a rectangle. We're always going to try to start our sketches from the origin, and it's important a lot of times to orient ourselves with the origin. I encourage you to always do that. Sometimes students don't do that, and it causes them a little bit of trouble. So I'm going to use a rectangle tool. It's right here to the right of the word Smart Dimension. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to come out on the left-hand side and select. And I'm going to pull this out and to the right, and you'll notice I didn't go to any particular numbers. I just went to a value, just whatever I needed. Now, the next thing that I'm going to need to do is I'm going to Smart Dimension these lines. So I'm going to click on this top line, and you can see this one says 99.38, and I want that to be 100. So I left clicked where I wanted the dimension to go, and it put it right there. Now I'm going to do this line on the left, and this one's going to be 65. Now, something about this, I didn't actually, I'm going to click on that to get it a little closer, more centered. In the instructions, they say to click on the right hand side. It really doesn't matter in this instance if you click on the left or the right, so whichever you prefer. So we're going to be, and this is what is actually called our base sketch or base feature sketch. You can see in the feature manager tree over here it says sketch number 1. Now, one thing I did notice is that my values here, and you'll do this in the instructions too, they want you to change the dimension values because the box is supposed to be 100 by 60. So the dimension that's a 65 has to change, and you do that by double clicking on it. So I'm going to double click on this one right here. It's going to bring up the modify box, and I'm just going to type in 60, and that changes it now. Next step is we're going to extrude this box. So we're going to give it 3 dimensions. So I'm going to go back to SolidWorks here. I'm going to go to the word features. So that's this menu here. And you're going to see extruded boss base. Now this is going to bring this feature design tree, manager tree over here. This changes. And this is where we're going to need to input some information. Okay. The first thing is, if I put my cursor on this arrow, I can pull this out to a distance. And if you watch over here on the left-hand side where it says direction 1 blind, and I pull that out, you'll notice that this number changes. So I want this number to be, I believe it's 50. Let me see here. Yeah, I want that to be 50. But it's kind of hard for me to get that to be exactly 50. Well, maybe not that hard. So I can pull this out if I want. Or more conventionally, what I do is I just make sure I highlight the number there, and I type in 50, and I'll push enter. Now, I want to make sure that my direction is going to be blind. So if you click on this, you'll see a whole bunch of different choices here, but we want in this instance for it to be blind. Now, this is where you can do any one of 3 things to exit this tool, which is you can hit the green check mark here, you can hit the green check mark in the upper right corner, the confirmation corner, or I can right click and say OK right there. I'm going to center that up a little bit better. Okay, so so far we're in pretty good shape. Now, we're going to get to the next thing. here. Okay, back to the PDF file. So this is all the stuff we just talked about. All right, now, what you're going to notice, by the way, here is you're going to see the word Boss Extrude with an arrow next to it. If I click on that little arrow, this is the sketch that we just created of the rectangle. You can see that when I leave my cursor on there long enough, it actually shows me the sketch highlighted in orange. So that's exactly what I want. I can bring that back up. Okay, we're going to round the corners of the part right now. So this corner right here, this corner here, the one in the back that's hidden from us, and then this guy over here. So one of the little tricks we can do to get this so that we can easily see it is we go to this quick menu here, and you're going to, if you put your cursor on here and wait, you'll see one of them says display style, and I'm going to hit the little arrow next to it. I'm going to come to the third or fourth one of these down, and it says hidden lines visible, and I'm going to click, and that allows me to see those two back edges, well, those three edges that are completely hidden from us. So I'm going to use the fillet tool. So I'm going to be in the features menu here. Fillet is kind of towards the right of the screen. It's right in the middle. And what it wants me to do is a couple things here. First of all, where it says items to fillet, when we click on these edges, that's going to start filling in. I want to make sure full preview is on, and my radius right here, I want that to be 10 millimeters. I'm going to come out here. I'm going to put my cursor on this front right corner, and you'll notice that the cursor changes to a straight up vertical line. If I move my cursor to the left, you'll see everything gets highlighted there, and it shows a solid block. So this is indicating to me what is being filleted. So when I click on that, because I have this full preview on, I'm going to see that yellow fillet. So I can just go around and I can select these hidden ones, or, well, that hidden one anyways, and you'll see it filled these in. I can click on these and it will activate the edges. There's different kinds of fillets that we can mess around with here, but we don't have to at this instance do that. So I'm going to right click and I'll say OK. And now I'm going to set my display style back to shaded or with edges, which is that one, or to shaded, which is that one. In some instances, I prefer that one anyways. So there we go. Now we're going to hollow out this part, and that's the shell command. So I make sure I go to the features menu, and then shell is in the same box where fillet was, just a couple over and down. I'm going to click on that. I want my parameters here, so this is the thickness of the wall of the shell. I want that to be 5 millimeters. And now it wants me to select the face that I'm going to shell. So I'm going to click on this top surface right here, and then right click and say OK. So when you're doing these things, by the way, you can change your view by clicking on this, and you can click on this icon here if you like. Sometimes, whoops, gets a little goofy. I have set up mine here at home so that I'm looking at all those little menus, because I find it really distracting to do that right there. So I'm going to just click on this. There we go. And bring this back. So order of operations here. Here's something that's important. I filleted first before I shelled. Okay. If I take this shell and move it up, I think I can do that. Yes. You see, I'm going to end up with square corners in here, which is a no-go. And I'm going to undo that. So you want to make sure that you fillet the outside edge first, and then you do the shell second, most frequently. And if you goof it up, you can just click on it and hold the word fillet or shell and just move one above the other so that you get the directions correct. So we've got the shell done, and the last thing we need to do to this is going to be an extrude cut, because we are going to put a hole going from this right hand side all the way through to the left hand side. Now, a couple ways to do this. All right, one of them is I can go to the word sketch and click on this, and you're going to see this message that asks you to select a plane, planar face, an edge, or something, and that's so that you can locate your sketch. So I'll just put my cursor on this on the right hand side. You'll notice that my origin is appearing on this right hand side. So I'm going to use one of these guys. I'll use the one that says right on it. And now I'll go and start a circle. Now, whenever I do a circle like this, I always put it off the location. I'm going to create a two dimensions to locate it. Really want to create 3 dimensions because I want the diameter here, and this is going to be 10, so I just click the outside edge of the circle. I'm in Smart Dimension. Okay, I'm going to click the edge of the circle and this vertical edge right here, and I think this dimension is supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be 25. Oops, not 50. 25. There we go. And then I'm going to click the edge of the circle again and this bottom edge, and this is supposed to be 40. Make sure I get that right. 40 and 25, yep, I did. And this is in the student guide here. See, we're talking about the hidden lines here, and preview and all that good stuff. The shell, and starting a sketch like we just did, and dimensioning this part. Now, here we go. Ooh. Next thing up, I'm going to go to Features, and here is Extruded Cut. And by the way, I can take a look at this trimetrically. Now, where it says direction 1, it says blind right now, but I'm going to click on that and I'm going to say through all. And let's see, I don't think I need to do anything else. And I'm going to hit the green check mark. Now, if I got this right, and I'm going to hold down my center mouse wheel and just rotate this, I can see that part is created correctly. And now I can go back to my trimetric view, and that is the end of creating this part.